Hey, can y'all hear me? I'm trying to do this. Um, y'all are y'all are in here in this chat tonight, so I guess everybody's curious about what it's costing me to live here in Mexico City. Um, Let me know because I want to make sure that I've got my mic on and that the volume is good. Let me know that you can hear me before I go into my whole spiel. Can anybody hear me? Hey, y'all. All right. That is good to know. Okay. All right. So it feels like it's been a long time since we hung out last Wednesday. I had every intention on going live. I posted a picture of where I was. I was in Tosco, and the internet in Tosco, not great, not great at all. I stayed at a lovely hotel. That picture I posted last week, that was the view from the restaurant in the hotel. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great to go live from here and have this in the background? And that internet said, girl, no. And then you notice from that picture, the whole town is full of hills. So in my hotel room, it was actually like a basement apartment. So the internet down there sucked too. So sorry, but I had intentions of going live last week, but it didn't happen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, when I got back from Toshko, I got my hair cut. It's a little different, but I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad. Hey y'all. Hey Seven. Glad you made the live. I see lots of familiar faces in here. Hey Abba. Hey Gail. And Chanda's here, and Miss Jade is here, and Greta is here. So hey everybody. All right. So okay. I started this channel in February of 2001, and I believe the second video, which I really should have linked to in the description of this one, the second video I did was cost of living. The very, very first video I did was like how to find an apartment here in Mexico City. And while I'm thinking about it, let me grab the link to the original video, which was probably posted in March 2001. Ava says, I have a lovely head. I know this is a little bit off topic, but I had been wanting to get a buzz cut, but I was concerned that I did not have the proper head for that because I have a peanut head and I have a big forehead. Ain't nobody got to tell me different. I know it is what it is. And I couldn't visualize what it would look like. I looked for pictures online and were like, where are the big forehead girls with a buzz cut? So I could not find a picture of somebody with my head shape, but I took it to my barber and we worked it out. So I'm glad to know that it works with this. All right, getting back on track. I'm gonna try and stay on track. Yes. So when I published my original cost of living video in March of 2021, because this is 2022, right? Oh, no, it wasn't even March. It was February 22nd, 2021. And here is a link, and I will have to drop this link in the description. Original cost of living. All right. So February 22. Now, I need to preface that what was going on in Mexico City at that time. Um, we we were on lockdown because during the height of COVID, the country of Mexico developed a stoplight system with green being your state is 100% open, it's all good. Red being like, nope, y'all need to stay at home. Nothing should be open. The disease is running rampant. And I was traveling at the time, December 2020, like a couple of days before Christmas, Mexico City went to red. Really and truly, Mexico City should have gone to red long before that. It was on orange with alert, orange with warning for weeks and weeks. But so from basically Christmas of 2020 through the end of February 2021 in Mexico City, we were basically locked down. Restaurants were allowed to open, but they really weren't allowing much in the terms of like seating. You had to eat outside. There was limited people who could be there, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking at my expenses from when I arrived in July 2020 through February 2021, I was doing a whole lot of sitting at home. Like as far as entertainment kinds of things, it was me at home watching Netflix. Okay. So there's going to obviously be some categories that I am spending a whole lot more money on. And it just occurred to me that if somebody is new and here and they have no idea who the hell I am and what I'm talking about, I did not introduce myself. So before we jump into things, let me do that. If you are new here, either new to the live stream or a new person, and this replay, YouTube served it to you, welcome. Hello. So glad you are here. My name is Adelia Borshade. Although I am usually known and identified on the street as Picky Girl Travels the World. On this channel, I share my experiences traveling the world, living abroad. I currently live in Mexico City, but I've lived in a few other places as well over the last 6 years. We talk about solo travel, expat life, getting the FU money you need to be able to solo travel, become an expat, do whatever it is you want to do. So if those topics are of interest to you, you are in the right place and you should subscribe and you should turn on notifications so that you know the next time I go live. All right, so that's there. Oh, I'm glad you made it. Fatima or Fatima, I'm glad you made it. Okay. Okay, see y'all, y'all are in here acting up. You're gonna get a man to bring you your tacos with that haircut. It would be nice because I am tired of getting my own tacos. I really, really am. Okay, so y'all didn't hear me. Y'all didn't come here to hear me talk about a man bringing me tacos. Y'all are here because you want to know how much does it cost to live here. Okay, so I think when I did this last year, I think my total monthly expenditures was about $1,200. I think, give or take, because I really wasn't leaving the house. Okay, I went ahead and I made a little, what do you call it? A spreadsheet of my expenses. And now I'm trying to remember how to share that with you. Oh, okay. Give me a moment. I did not set this up beforehand, but there should be a PowerPoint. What did I do with the PowerPoint? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can't remember where I saved the PowerPoint to. Y'all, please forgive me. Hold on. Let me figure out what folder, because I was trying to rush and I did not pay attention to where I saved it. Okay, what folder is that in? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm over here struggling. Um, why is it, y'all? Why is it not opening my little PowerPoint that I made? Hold on. I don't know where it saved it. Okay, so if I open PowerPoint, because on this program, normally if this was like Zoom or something, I could just share what's happening on my computer, but this does not let me do that. It wants me to like upload the file to this software. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to put this on my desktop, and then it should be easier for me to find. All right. Thank you for your patience with me and my technical issues. Okay, so now we're going to try this again. We are going to upload it. Yep. It's not just Mercury in retrograde. I think there's like 4 or 5 planets in retrograde. So yeah, it's a wonder I'm struggling. Yes, I am using StreamYard. Okay, so it's about to pop up any second. Oh, thank y'all for telling me I have a beautifully shaped head. Y'all are sweet. Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, so what you should be seeing in front of you are basically what I have spent so far this month. Now it's a little small for me to see, so I have to make it bigger. Okay, my rent is still 13,000 pesos. I just renewed my lease for the second time. I moved into this apartment in August of 2010. So far, my landlord has not seen fit to raise my rent. Depending on the exchange rate on the day that I go to the ATM, I'm usually paying somewhere between like 615 USD to about $650. Now, it is, I will say this, because this conversation we're having today is not just about expenses and cost of living, but y'all, we have inflation here in Mexico as well. And then I'm sure y'all seen all of the articles about how in some parts of the city, foreigners have because foreigners, particularly folks who are working remote, got a lot of money to throw around. Some enterprising landlords have seen fit to hike up rent prices. In Mexico, in particular in Mexico City, I will speak for, it is usually spelled out in your lease how much the rent will go up each year. In my lease, the way it is worded is basically the landlord has the option to increase the rent the same amount that the government has said the inflation rate is. But he has chosen not to exercise that increase, and I am pleased. If you watched my original apartment hunting video, you know that I'm not happy paying 13,000 pesos a month. I would really like to pay about 10,000 pesos. When I lived in Mexico in 2017, I had an apartment that was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. This current apartment is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and has a balcony. My original apartment was 9,500 pesos, and that was furnished with a washer and dryer. And I really did not want to spend more than 10,000 pesos. Now, rent prices have definitely gone up since 2017, 2018. That same apartment, when I came back in 2020, was renting for 12,000 pesos. So I kind of don't feel too bad about what I pay in rent, even though it is still more than I would like to. However, given my proximity to mass transit, given the fact that I do have a little balcony, and it's a newish building. I could be paying a whole lot more. Um, Going through here quick to see what apartments. Like I said, y'all, now my balcony is not large. It's bigger, because I was going to say I have a sliding patio door, and my balcony is a little bigger than that. It is not large, but you got to remember, when I came back to Mexico City, it was July 2020, height of the pandemic. Mexico City was coming off of its first lockdown, and I only gave myself a week to find a place. And I was like, I really wanted outdoor space, because I was like, if we get locked down again, I need to have, a space to be able to be outside. And like I said, I'm very, very thankful that my landlord has not raised my rent. My health insurance did go up. The policy that I have private Mexican health insurance, which cost me about 30,500 pesos for the year. That's what that number is over on the side. That's how much I pay a year, which is about $1,400, $1,500 USD. So if I divide that by 12, it's costing me about 2,500 pesos a month, which is like $128, $125. I did a video on insurance, and I'll link to that. And I'm probably going to get different insurance. And so as I start, getting estimates and looking at that, I'll do an updated video on that as well. But most private insurance here in Mexico is really about catastrophic coverage. My policy is not covering like doctor's appointments and that sort of thing. And one of these days, I'm going to go to the doctor and I'm going to share with y'all. Oh, that's how that works. Okay. I'm going to share with y'all all of that, but I ain't been there yet. So my insurance did go up a little bit, because I feel like my insurance was like 1,300 USD the first year, and this year it's like closer to 1,500. I have cell service. I have a US telephone number through Google Voice, and I have a Mexican telephone number through Telcel. I have a dual SIM phone, so I have them both in there. But you'll notice that for the month of August, I did not pay anything for my US cell. This is how I work the system, because if you try to maintain your US cell service outside the US, eventually your US cell provider is going to your US cell provider is going to eventually tell you, you're using too much roaming data, come back to the US, we're going to cut you off. Okay. To get around that, what I do with my Google Voice lets you pause service for 3 months at a time. During that time, it does not charge me. I also have a Google Voice number in the mix. So I have cell service through Google Fi, excuse me, because I think I misspoke. I have cell service through Google Fi, which I connect to my Google Voice number. When I am in Mexico, I am not going to pay the 20 to 30 USD for a US number when you can see that my Mexican number with 3 gigs of data cost me $10. So I pause my US service and I still use my Google Voice number on my phone. And then when I travel, so like next month, I will be in the US, although my Mexican cell will work there. And then I'm going to Scandinavia. So when I'm in Scandinavia, I will turn on my Google Fi service. And so that'll probably, for that month, it'll probably cost me $25, $30, something like that. But typically, if I am in Mexico, I am not paying to use my US cell number. I just pause service. I still get to hold on to my number, not a big deal. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna just go down these in order. Internet. When I got the apartment, it was like $4.99. I think I paid my bill late, and Telmex was like, "Okay, girl, we gonna raise it." So I've been paying $509, and that includes internet, high-speed internet. That includes a Netflix subscription and some online storage that I don't use. I think it also includes a landline number that I also don't use. So internet is roughly about the same. It has not gone up. My electricity, actually, my electricity number in there is wrong. It's about half of that. My electricity bill, which is right here, was 113 pesos, because I can't do math in my head. I tried to divide that into 2. It should have been 57 pesos. So my electricity bill is really half of that per month. Now, remember, the climate in Mexico City is fairly mild. I do not have air conditioning. I do not have heat. That's why electricity is subsidized by the government. So that's why the electricity bill is what it is. My water bill has gone up slightly, like a couple of cents, but it's basically the same. Gas is not subsidized. I live in an apartment where my gas comes in directly. There's a gas line. It varies based on usage. Now, you see where things start to get really expensive. It is Miss Mia, because she has a delicate stomach and will pretty much, the only thing that don't upset it, dog food wise, is this Canadian food that I import, which costs me about $50 USD for a 7-kilo bag. I don't know how many pounds that is, y'all. Don't ask. But that usually lasts somewhere between 1 to 2 months. So I might be able to cut back on that dog food cost. The dog groomer, 250 pesos. They're like they're on the street at the corner. I love that I can just walk 5 minutes, 3 minutes really. Okay, so my food expenses. This used to be a lot cheaper. And it was a lot cheaper because I was staying at home and not eating out. I eat out a lot now because I don't want to cook. So far this month, and I'm not even sure if this is everything, I suspect I have spent more than $300 on food this month. And that breaks down this month. It has broken down about half and half versus grocery shopping versus eating out. Although there are some months when I eat out like all the time and I don't buy any groceries. So yeah, my food budget might be as much as $400. I don't know, but it has gone up, and I know it is because one, I don't want to cook, and two, I am eating out a whole lot more because we outside now. All right. What else is on here? Transportation. Now, transportation costs have changed a lot, primarily because of Uber. Uber prices have gone up significantly. I don't feel like it's just inflation. I think Uber prices have gone up because I don't know if they were just giving us lower rates before and now they've decided to adjust them. I don't know if it's because there are fewer people driving Uber, Didi, and those different rideshare services. But to give you an example, um, basically, a ride, I want to say rides have doubled in price with Uber. Um, and when I first got back and we were like in lockdown and that sort of thing, and before we had vaccines, I was very hesitant to take public transit because I wasn't trying to die of COVID. Once I got vaccinated, once more people were vaccinated here, I got back on public transit, and then when the Uber prices went up, I was like, bump this. What was it in June? An Uber ride that should have been about 5, maybe $7 was like $15. And so I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So yeah. And this is, I think this is, you've hit the nail on the head, that the pricing model Uber was using before to get everybody on, they were not profitable there. And in order to remain around and be profitable, they had to raise prices. And what that has done for me is it has shifted me to mass transit. And there has been a little inflation with mass transit prices. We'll talk about that. I have another slide on that. So my transportation costs have gone up a little bit because I think when I did the video in February of 2021, I think my transportation cost was $1 for the whole month. So you've seen it's gone up significantly because I'm outside, I'm in the streets. My Spanish classes, I saw somebody asked about my Spanish classes. The price on these has not gone up. Uh, I I generally take class twice a week. So that's 2 hours a week, 8 hours a month. My classes are online. My teacher is in Honduras. Okay, so everything from Spanish up, these were the same expenses I had in 2021. If you look at everything under Spanish, you can see that I have added things to the budget. And so this has also contributed to my cost of living increasing. This month, I signed up for salsa class. I get 10 hours of salsa instruction. They are running a discount, and that's why I signed up. It was 650 pesos, which is about $32. The regular price is twice that. So for 10 hours of instruction, you would be looking at about I can't add, $65 for 10 hours of instruction. These are group classes. So I have no idea what private classes cost because I haven't been able to find anybody who does private classes yet. Pedicures, and y'all remember this, prices in this city vary. This is how I am living my life here. I do not live in a popular area for foreigners. I live in what would probably be classified as a middle class Mexican neighborhood. So these are the prices, and I go, like, the place I take salsa classes is in a neighborhood adjacent to mine. I get pedicures in my neighborhood. I get my lashes done in my neighborhood. My barber is in the neighborhood. The masseuse I go to, she is on this side of town. She's not in my neighborhood, but I could probably walk there in 20 minutes. So there are much more expensive ways to do these things in this city, but where I live and the people I'm going to, this is what I am paying. So I'd probably round up and say I am probably spending $1,500, $1,600 a month on my life in Mexico. That does not include travel. Planning this trip to Scandinavia is throwing my budget out of whack because it's expensive as hell. So let me see, because I know y'all had some questions and I couldn't see them when I was looking at all of that. So, yeah. Holy cow! $2,400 a year for sales? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not, y'all. Absolutely not. Yes, rent prices have increased a lot depending on where you are looking in the city. And again, this is why I didn't move. I am very thankful that my landlord, I hope it's because he appreciates me as a tenant and it's like, hey, she pays on time. And I don't have to hassle her about getting my money, and to show his appreciation, he's keeping my rent the same. I do very much appreciate that. So yeah. And to give you, I mentioned this when I did the apartment hunting video. And y'all, if you're watching this on the replay, I'll have links to all of these videos I'm mentioning in the description. I just forgot about it. This apartment is bigger than the place I had in Houston. It has 2 full bedrooms. I had a 1-bedroom study, 1 bath, and I paid basically twice what I pay now. So, okay, let me see if y'all had any questions for me. Can I ask if you use a dog sitter when you leave town? How did you find one? Okay. I've done a few things. I have paid for trusted house sitters, which I paid like $120 for the year. And people came and watched my dog for free because they got to stay in my place when I was gone. Before I joined Trusted House Sitters, I had a dog sitter. She probably still lives here in the city. She would charge me 150 pesos a day. That's about $7 a day. And before I found her, there is a website called Cuidada Mi Mascota or something like that. Basically, it's sort of like in the US, they have rover.com. It's sort of like that. You can find dog sitters, dog walkers, and variation of pet services on there where people post their profile. They will either come to your house or you could take your animal to them. And generally speaking, I paid somewhere between $7 to $10 a day when I use that service. I have been very grateful that Mia's got some aunties that love her who want to keep her for free. So yeah, but I've done a little bit of everything when I don't take her with me. Yeah, the electricity now. Again, y'all, I live in Mexico City. We do not have air conditioning. We do not have heat. If it gets really cold in the winter and I plug in an electric heater, my bill goes up significantly. And if I use enough that it pushes me out of the area that I am getting subsidized, by Mexican standards, it can get really expensive. But as long as the weather doesn't get too extreme in one way or the other, yeah, electricity bills are very, very manageable. Okay. Let's see what else y'all asked. Uh, some of y'all are so funny. And I think one of the things I think I mentioned in like a previous live, I can't remember when it was, where I think it was the one where we were talking about like what's keeping you from moving abroad. And a lot of people get so wrapped up in I got to have X amount of money, I got to do this, I got to do that. And remember, it's not about like it's about how much money do you need to live the life you want. To live the life I want, I need significantly less money than I did in the US. So, um, yeah, that's how that works here. Excuse me. Okay. So, I also I took, I was having a little Excel fun. And so here is my budget just visually. Y'all don't try and read that little print, but you see that solid blue area, that's my rent. One of the things that I have tried to stress about people who are interested, particularly about living in Mexico City, is that compared to the rest of the country, rents are significantly higher. Think in the same way that LA, New York City rents are significantly higher than other parts of the United States. Um, so, um, so rent is my biggest expense. If I did not live alone, I could save a whole lot of money there. I could save a whole lot of money. I see several of y'all talking about my massage. Okay, what I get is a 45-minute neck and shoulder massage for 490 pesos. She does longer massages, but the way I'm set up, that's what I need is neck and shoulder massage. She trained under a Thai woman, so it's kind of like a Thai massage, but it's not a full body Thai massage. Um, what did I just got a quote from a Thai lady here who does massages. I think an hour or 90-minute Thai massage was like 600, 700 pesos. So that's like $30, $40. Um, but but I didn't have cash and she did not take cards. So I didn't go to her. Again, those prices can be more. It all depends on where you go. Um, let's see. Have flight prices within Mexico changed drastically? The last domestic flight I took was at the beginning of July when I went to Cancun. And I can tell you that flight was more than I wanted to pay. But because I was traveling with my dog, excuse me, I flew Aeromexico. So they were already going to be more expensive than like Viva Aerobus or Volaris, but still the prices were more than they had been previously. So um, usually domestically, like last week when I went to Tasco, the bus ticket was 268 pesos each way. So that's $13 because I did not take the dog. Because buses in Mexico, for the most part, want you to put your dog underneath. And y'all, if she's spoiled and eating imported Canadian dog food, she ain't going underneath the bus. So most usually if I'm traveling within Mexico, it's on the bus or I'm doing something like blah blah car, which is significantly cheaper. But if I fly, especially if I'm flying with a dog, it might cost me a little bit more. Do these prices include tips? No, This is just the price for the service. Generally speaking, I tip around 10%. It depends. Um, Mexico is a place where gender discrimination in employment is legal. There are no legal protections. There are no rules about you have to pay men and women the same amount. So I will often tip more if the person providing me the service is female, because I know she's probably earning less to begin with. But typically, I tip somewhere between 10 to 15%. So no, that's a good question, Yvette. This is a good question, but I ain't got an answer. What percentage of the costs are covered by retirement income versus income from consulting? I have not touched my retirement money yet. So I can tell you that much. But how much is coming from my consulting versus how much is coming from YouTube versus how much is coming from like ebook sales and that kind of stuff? I haven't done that math. I probably should have, but I have not. Can't do Mexico City due to the noise. I'm looking for quiet places on the outskirts of downtown Guadalajara. Puebla could be really nice. Puebla seems like a nice place. Yeah. Again, depending on where you live. Now, the building I live in, it is a small building. If I wanted a pool, I wanted a gym, I wanted that kind of stuff, my rent would probably be double what it is. I was not interested in that because I came during the pandemic. The reality was I wasn't going to be paying for something like that I wasn't going to use. I wanted a fairly small building so that the security guards would know me on site, so that like if there's an earthquake or something like that, they would be like, hey, where's that foreign lady and with the little dog? The building I used to live in had like hundreds of apartments in it, and I would walk in there. Those people didn't know who I was walking off the street. So yeah, if I wanted a building with a lot more amenities, or if I was in a neighborhood where there were a lot more foreigners, I would definitely be paying a lot more rent, more in rent. Thank you. Thank you. It was, I have a video. I've been editing it since last week. I filmed it a long time ago of the first time that I went to him to get my hair cut. Because let's talk about how much I pay for a haircut. Okay. My barber, they charge at that shop 350 pesos. That's an expensive haircut. That's a $15, $16 haircut, y'all. That's an expensive haircut. And I know in the US, you're thinking, what? No. If I was getting average prices, I'd probably be paying half of that or 2/3 of what I am paying. However, there are certain things that I don't have to tell him. He is not Black. He has not lived in the US. He does not speak English, but there were certain things that he understood when he did my hair. I was like, that's okay. I'm going to pay extra because I don't have to go through those hassles with you. I pay 350 for a haircut. If you get your haircut like in a market or on the street, you can get a haircut for 40 pesos, $2. Or there is a barber here, the barber I used to go to, who charges 600 pesos for a haircut. So that's like $35, $40. So there is definitely the whole range. I'll message me Abba. I'll give you her information. Although, let me say this. Well, wait. My lady, is kind of on maternity leave right now, and I don't like who's replacing her. But the lady, the Thai lady, it's far. It's like barely still in the city limits. So I don't know because it and mass transit doesn't go out there. So you got to factor in the cost of that Uber too. Um, let's see. Almost 50% of my budget is rent, which is pretty high, and it could easily be more than that. Uh, bu- 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 I would like to say for a travel fund, would you have recommendations on how to include that in a monthly budget? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm trying to plan for local and regional trips. I subscribe to the no budget budget, where I made travel one of my expenses and I take that money off the top. So like as I'm buying these ridiculously priced airfare and hotel rooms, that money is just coming out of the travel fund that every month. So like the budget that I have here, there would just be another line for travel, and it would just the biggest amount I could afford to put there, it would be there. So every month I would pay myself and deposit that money into a separate account so that when I have to buy plane tickets and that kind of stuff, I'm pulling from that account. I'm not pulling from my everyday money. I have a video that talked about that, and I'll remember to link it as well. Oops, where'd the comments go? Blah, 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 blah. Did my rent go up? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And and I really thought about like, do I want to move? Is there something I am unhappy about? And really, there isn't. I might I the I guess the one thing I don't like about where I happen to live is I want it to be directly on a metro line. I am between two metro lines. And then there's a third metro line that's out of service right now south of me. So I'm within a 10, 12-minute walk, but I want it to be like on a metro line. Now, do I want that bad enough to move and pay more in rent? No, I don't want it that bad. Okay. Do you have a doorman or a security guard at your door? I specifically wanted a building that had a security guard, and not because safety is an issue. I knew that I would be ordering things online and they would be delivered. And if you don't have a security guard who can receive packages, your shit might not get delivered. Amazon, because I really had this idea that I would live in one of these older buildings with like only like 4 or 5 apartments in it total. But the reality of that is, one, if there's no security guard, you are depending on your neighbors to make sure the door gets locked and that kind of thing. And there's one thing I learned during this pandemic is I don't want to be dependent on other folks for that. And then the other thing was, if something needed to be delivered, if there was not a person to receive it and secure it, your odds of getting it were slim. Like electricity bills show up, and if you don't have a security guard for them to hand that to, the electricity bill, people might put it on the ground and put a rock on top of it, and you're just supposed to find it. And so like Amazon comes and there's nobody there. They call you. So one, you got to talk to them in Spanish. You got to be there waiting for them to come. If you're not there, they like try and deliver one more time, and then they send your stuff back. So for me, having a security guard was really about having my packages received. And because I am single and I live alone, I wanted, in case like I died in my sleep or if something happened, I wanted there to at least be somebody else out there who was like, hey, you know who we haven't seen in a while. The lady with the pink hair with the little dog. So that was my reasoning for doing that. What else? This is a good question. Have you conditioned yourself to live by Mexican money standards and norms and not the US standards? Absolutely, I have. It started when I moved here in 2017. I basically thought of everything in terms of how much does a taco cost? A taco was 10 pesos. So if I went to a restaurant and the entree was 200 pesos, which a lot of people from the US would be like, oh, that's just $10. I'm thinking, do you know how many tacos I could get for that? So, yes, I think in terms not just of what the price would be in the US, but how does that stack up with what things should cost here? Um, and I know a lot of foreigners, not enough foreigners do that. Um, how did you find different services like lashes and pedicures through Facebook groups, searches online? Primarily Google Maps. I think I found the lash place because they paid for an IG ad. Because I have never worn lashes in my life. Um, I thought when I heard about the process, I just thought, why would anybody want to do that? And I got served this ad, and I was like, that place is 5 minutes around the corner. And then I put on some fake lashes and I was like, oh, they do all the heavy lifting. I still feel a little conflicted about it because I feel like it's really, really frivolous. But yeah, so no, I found them. I think I saw an IG ad for them, the nail place. I just was walking down the street, looked at them, pulled up their IG, was like, okay, like I found the dance school because I just googled salsa lessons and several places came up. I looked at which one was closest to me, went to their website. I do that a lot. If it is something specific like I need a plumber, I'm probably going to go search in a Facebook group because there I'm going to need to know that somebody has worked with this person before. But a lot of times it's just Google. Excuse me. Um, Lots of reports about cartel fighting and violence in certain areas. Have I heard about this? Yes. Is that impacting us here in Mexico City? No. But yeah, I try to watch Spanish language news, and there were several stories on that. So I knew it was like in Jalisco and in near Tijuana, places like that. Gina, I have a video about all of the things you need to know about paying taxes as a US citizen living outside. It is fairly easy to do if you are just making money from an employer. If you're self employed, things get a little bit more complicated. Filing is a piece of cake. And if you play your cards right, you don't even have to pay anything. You just have to file. Okay. Am I in the gringo areas? No. Nope. The girl who does my lashes does not speak English. The groomer for the dog does not speak English. My masseuse does. The people at the salsa school, baby, I am the only foreigner in there. I am the only one whose Spanish is not their first language. Uh, let's see. It is funny. Ivana is right. I'm the black lady, because when the other black ladies come to my apartment building, they already know who they're coming to see. What does it say? Um, First of all, Mia's not just running out in the street just for the hell of it. She will walk out the door and wait at the elevator. But yeah, the doorman would help, because they in my building, they control, um like, the door isn't just open. They have to open it every time you come in and leave. Um when you buy groceries, how much do you pay? Uh I can't give y'all specifics on, like, price changes in groceries. I did a video where I compared the prices on Numbeo, the cost of living website, and I went to the website for the grocery store. I have not physically shopped for groceries in more than a year. I order them online, and sometimes, let me show y'all. Just, was it Saturday? I ordered groceries, and I needed Q-tips. I found the Q-tips on the website. I picked it. Apparently, they were out, and so they sent me some suggestions. I assumed he was just suggesting other Q-tips. Instead of Q-tips, I got this big ass package of absorbent cotton. So I show y'all that to let you know that grocery shopping is not always 100% right online, but where I live, there is not an, it would be a 20-minute walk to the grocery store, and I don't be feeling like doing that. Not when I can just, for 59 pesos, for $3, or if I order enough, $4. I mean, no, I can't do math. $2. If I order enough, it only costs me $2 for them to deliver. Why would I go to the grocery store? Um, so uh I could order produce. I actually order, because y'all know I make my own peanut butter. And so to get, 8 kilos of peanut peanuts, I order from, it's kind of like an online farmers market, and they have produce. Um, and so it would work all the same. Also, in almost every neighborhood in the city, there is a weekly market, a tianguis. So, like, if I walk out of my building, the street at the end on Fridays, there's a tianguis. And if I bought produce, I could go buy some there. But y'all know I don't buy produce. Um, I can share my Spanish teacher. She's got a website. It's called Spanish. What is it? Spanish by, or is it Spanish with? Ah, here it is. Spanish with Yareli. I will tell you, the classes are totally in Spanish. She does not really speak English. And I have, for me, in my language learning journey, have found that to be really helpful, because it forces me to use the Spanish I have, even if it's not the most grammatically correct Spanish around. But that's her website, and I can link that in the, what do you call those things? The comments as well. Okay. I'm trying to figure out where I am. I had to move down in the comments. Okay. Yeah. Getting produce, and not that I know this personally, because I think the only produce I have ever bought was a lime, because I was making palomas. And I did buy some basil once because I made pesto. But from the people I know who buy produce, they say what's at the grocery store is not going to be your best bet, is to get it either at the tianguis, that there will be one in your neighborhood every week, or at the mercado. Those are in stationary buildings as opposed to like a street market like the tianguis is. Yes, I did make this. Um, Technically, I guess it's a dress or a tunic, but it's really short. So we're going to call it a blouse today. Excellent question. This is not a silly question, Fatima. Fatima. But did street tacos increase in price? Yes, they did. And that gives me here. Okay. So here are some prices. I don't know if y'all can read that. Some prices that have changed, and how much they have gone up. So, Al Pastor tacos. In my neighborhood, they were 10 pesos before. They are now 13 pesos. So that is a 30% jump in price. Bus rides. If you watch Rashida Dow's videos, she talked recently about there was a protest, a work stoppage that the bus drivers did where they blocked the main thoroughfares in the city. On those buses, the prices were 6.5 pesos. It is now 8 pesos to ride that bus. Now, that the price of riding the metro has not gone up. It has been 5 pesos since like 1991 or 1995, something like that. The trolley bus prices have not gone up. The metro bus prices have not gone up, but because I think with the buses, I think some of that is like they're contractors or they like own the bus. I don't know, but those prices went up. Birth control pills went up 6.8%. Arizona iced tea went up almost 15%. So some prices have gone up. The my should be there. Okay. My regular taco order where I get 2 arrachera tacos, which is like carne asada beef that comes with fries, that was 59 pesos. It now costs 65 pesos. So yeah, uh street food has gone up, and it is very common to see menus where they've just kind of taped over the old price and now they're putting they pencil in a new price. um, the cost of limes and avocados, not that I buy either of those regularly, but I've seen lots of memes in Spanish to know that those prices have gone up a whole lot. I It's very interesting to me, the things that matter to different people when they move places. And I have, honestly, y'all, I've never moved a place and thought about the bugs other than like, oh, there'll be mosquitoes. No, we don't have bugs the way you do in tropical parts of the country. Um, it is rare to see bugs here. So not a problem in my neighborhood, not really a thing in the city. Uh, Peanut butter is super easy to make, y'all. Literally, all you need are peanuts. You can get fancy and you can add cinnamon and chocolate if you want. But really, all you need are roasted peanuts and a high powered blender or food processor. That is all you need to make peanuts. The link for the tax video. Let me see. Here is that. And I have to remind myself to add these. Here is the expat tax video. I'll put that in the chat. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Now, thing about street tacos, like there's another taco stand I have never bought from there, but like their tacos were 20 pesos, and is 20 pesos, that's almost $1 for a taco. That seems like a lot, and it kind of is a lot, but is also kind of the going price. I think they've raised that up to like 29 pesos, which gave me pause because I never thought we'd be paying 29 pesos for a taco. I did a video on a tianguis. Now, y'all know that is not the kind of place I would go to buy things, but my friend who is a chef, she went with me. So if you search on my channel, you can find the video that I did on the tianguis. A lot of Mexicans are vegetarians. So if you're vegan, you might have to work a little harder, but there's lots of non-meat options at the markets. This number will go up. Okay, so Glass Half Full is asking about any mumblings about the amount of money you need for financial solvency to get residency. I haven't heard anything. It's still a little early, but given what inflation has done, I think they will raise the minimum wage. And when they raise the minimum wage, the amount of money you need to qualify for residency is going to go up. So if you are somebody who maybe you were thinking about like January, February going to do your residency, it'll probably cost you more than if you can get an appointment before the end of this year. Okay. So then avocado prices are ridiculous then, because I had seen them in the US and was like, avocados don't cost anywhere near this in the US, but in Mexico, but it's not something I follow because I don't eat avocados. But to say that they are the same prices in the US for Mexico, those are ridiculous prices then. Those are absolutely ridiculous. See what else. Okay. So, we talked about what it's costing me to live here now. We talked about kind of how prices have changed. Officially, I think I've seen different things, but basically, inflation here is somewhere between 6 and 9%. It depends, like on food and non-alcoholic beverages, the average inflation rate was over 14%. But then on like travel, it was like 4 or 5%. I have some blah, 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 blah. Okay, so like onion prices have gone up 6%. Orange prices have gone up 6%. So prices have gone up here. So yeah, like everywhere else. And I don't know what the economic outlook is, but because of Mexico's close trade relationship with the US, I don't expect what happens here to be that drastically different than in the US. Okay. So, any last minute questions? I think we covered it. I think we covered what it costs me to live here. I don't know if I am going to I would like to continue salsa classes, but I would really like private lessons if I can find them. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna keep that up like all the time, or if that's just something like that I did this month and may never do again. But that's what we're looking. And so today is August 24th. I got another week. Um, so far I've spent almost $1,500 this month. How much do I think I'll spend between now and the end of the month? It really depends on how much eating out I do, honestly, because I ordered more groceries this weekend. There's food here to eat if I want to cook it, but I don't really want to. Um, okay, water costs. This is an excellent question. If y'all ever watched, I did that like day in the life video last year, and I showed the water filter I have. So typically, I don't have drinking water costs. Now, there is the $1.20 or $1.30 I pay every month to have water in the apartment, but the filter lasts 2 years. I just came up on 2 years, so I replaced the filter this month. It cost me like 960 pesos, so we'll just round that to $50. So if you want to know how much I pay for drinking water, because I'm going to pull up a calculator because I'm not doing this in my head. We're talking about 50 US dollars for 24 months. $2 a month is what I pay for drinking water that I don't have to get delivered. I don't have to go get like those big water bottles. I just make drinking water here. Um, so yeah, that's what my drinking water costs are. Um, and I had the initial filter for 2 years, no issues. And so as long as I'm in Mexico, that's probably will be my solution to that. Is my building built for earthquakes? That's a great question. And that's a question you should ask when looking at a building. This building was here during the last big earthquake in 2017. Um, I was not here last September when there was another earthquake, but when I got back, there was no visible damage. Because it is a newer building, odds are it is probably built properly, but that is something that you can ask about when you are looking at places. Um, but just because it's a new building doesn't mean anything, because during that quake in 2017, there were quote unquote new buildings that collapsed. And then there were old buildings that didn't budge. So it varies. And that is something you can ask about. Um, um, where is this question? Um, does the water feel different in regards to your skin and hair? Well, I don't have any hair now, so I don't know. Everybody talks about how hard the water is, and it is hard, but I used to live in a house with a water softener, and I haven't had soft water in over 7 years. So I really forgot what soft water feels like. So it's kind of like I don't know what I'm missing anymore, but I don't feel like, oh, this water is like drying me out, because it's just dry here. We have very little humidity at all. But yeah, this is a comment I do hear from people who don't really like using the water here on their hair. But even when my hair was longer before I cut it in March, I didn't notice enough of a difference that I was stressed over it. Um, yeah. The filter that I have, I assume, Dita, that's what you're asking about. It's called an Eco Filtro. It was developed, I believe, initially to bring clean drinking water to rural areas in like Guatemala. So it does not require electricity. It does not require like multiple expensive filters, that sort of thing. It's just you put the water in, it goes through the filter, it comes out clean. And I figured if it can clean the water in some rural village in Guatemala, it can clean city water here. Um, and you can either order directly from Eco Filtro, or like the replacement filter I actually got it a little cheaper from Bed Bath and Beyond in Mexico. And I didn't have to go get it. I ordered it online and they delivered it. I filmed the unboxing and I told myself, oh, this would make a good YouTube short. I haven't posted it. So, face cloths, Bed Bath and Beyond. I paid too much for them because it was from Bed Bath and Beyond, but Costco would probably be another place that I would look for those. Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't know about renter's insurance. I know it's a thing, but do they actually pay? I don't know. Because there were people who, during that quake in 2017, the building was deemed unsafe and they weren't allowed to go back in and get their stuff. And I really hope that the renter's insurance they had paid for that. I will be completely transparent with y'all. I do not have renter's insurance. Because for the most part, like outside of my sewing machine, I wouldn't be too stressed about like losing the stuff in here. So, but I probably should have renter's insurance, but I don't. I don't. Sammy, Sammy, okay. Now, if you had asked me this question when I lived in China, I think this would have been a completely valid question, given that there were like squat toilets and like pit latrines and that kind of thing were very common. Um, I mean, we have functioning indoor plumbing with like regular Western style toilets. So I, it's just like when I went to the bathroom in the US, it is no different here. Um, Now, if I lived in some little rural pueblo, that might be different, but that's why I don't live there, because I am not about that life. I really am not. Okay. Laundry service, it exists. Where I live, there is a laundromat down there. There's one over there. They exist. I don't want people touching my things. So I wanted an apartment that had connections for a washer. In newer construction, that's pretty standard. In older buildings, if there is, if there are washers, they usually are like upstairs, like on the roof, or they might be added and be put in the kitchen or in the bathroom. But because of the age of this building, there is a specific little nook built that has its own door to it where the washer is. Um, but no, washing service, like laundry service, that exists, and I could have that if I wanted it, but I don't want that. I don't want that. All right. I'm trying to think of the things I'm supposed to remind you of. Have you subscribed? Have you liked this video? Um Those of you that have signed up on the waiting list for the Get Started Investing Challenge, the last one for 2022 will take place in October. And if you're watching this and you're like, what? There's a Get Started Investing Challenge. Yes, there is. And either you could go to my website, pickygirltravelstheworld.com. There's probably a link in the description, or you can go to pickygirltravels.thinkific.com and you can get on the wait list if that is something that you wanted to do, but you forgot. And now a couple of months have passed by. The last challenge of the year is going to be in October. And so if you want to know when registration opens, make sure that you add yourself to the waiting list. Okay. Yeah. There are, when I look out my kitchen window, there are a couple of older buildings where their laundry services are on top. So, it's you find the whole mix. With all of your travels, is Mexico City still your number one place to live? Yes, it is. This is my favorite place in the world. Mexico City is not for everybody. I even made a video about that. I give you 10 reasons why you should not live here. But for me, I love it. It really has everything I could want. So it's I'm like, wow, I can't believe I am so lucky that I get to live here. This is an interesting question I've never been asked before. Are you surrounded by a lot of churches? Not really. My building, there's another building next to me, about 2-3 buildings from me. There is a church. It's not like a colonial church that the Spanish built. It is a building that somebody has converted to a church. I'm trying to think, do I ever hear those people? I don't think so. And then a little further in a neighborhood over, every now and then I can hear some church bells. But I don't think there's a lot of churches around here. Queen P, to get on the list for the investing challenge, there is the URL. If you go in the description of this video, I think there's a thing that says something like sign up for one of my courses. You can get on the waiting list there. Yeah. All right. Okay. Describe the Scandinavian trip. I want to go to Finland, but not sure because of the war. I am not going to Finland. As of right now, the plan is Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. We're going to talk a little bit more about this trip because I leave on a Thursday. So the live before the trip, we'll talk about this. I will tell you this. Be ready to spend a shit ton of money. That's all I'm going to say, because it is hurting my heart every time I book a hotel, and I'm talking about for a couple of days. I am literally paying what I pay in rent, and that do not sit right with me, not at all. So yeah, well, if there are specific questions y'all want to know about what I am planning for this trip, and I think I will go live while I'm there. I don't know, because of the time difference. I don't know. Instead of Wednesday nights, we might do Friday, like how I've been doing the Fridays. And speaking of Friday, this Friday, y'all want to be here, 1 p.m. Eastern. So while I'm in Scandinavia, I may end up going live at 1 p.m. Eastern because I'm not a night owl. I don't know that I'm going to be getting up at 1 and 2 a.m. in the morning for y'all. But speaking of this Friday, remember we did the panel discussion where we had expats from the different generations. We had Gen Z, millennials, boomer. We're doing another panel this Friday, and it's all Black women who have been long-term expats, who have been living outside of their passport country for at least 10 years. And we've got a variety of ages. We've got folks who've done it with kids, people who are not doing it with kids, people who started at the beginning of their professional careers. So, Friday, this week, August 26th, 1 p.m., y'all are going to want to be here for that. Okay. So, I think that is a good place for us to end this. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to say before I leave y'all to enjoy the rest of your Wednesday? Thank y'all for showing up and hanging out. And so I didn't have to come on here and just talk to myself. Thank y'all always for being here and having fun and having a party in the comments. I will see y'all Friday.